We have been taught to see trees as passive entities, silent providers of oxygen, shade, and wood. To the modern world, they are little more than background scenery or carbon regulators. But what if this perception is not only incomplete, but dangerously naive? What if the forests, jungles, and root systems blanketing our planet are not simply part of a natural ecosystem, but components of a planetary transmission system? There is a theory, ancient and controversial, that suggests trees are far more than what they appear to be. Their purpose, while biological on the surface, may in fact be deeply technological, though not in the way we typically understand technology. Rather than circuits and silicon, their mechanisms are built of living tissue, frequency, geometry, and vibration. According to this view, trees are not just life forms, they are antennas. Receivers and transmitters that are in constant dialogue with something far beyond our comprehension, a superintelligent, extra-dimensional consciousness that oversees life from behind the veil of space and time. It begins with the roots. Stretching deep beneath the ground, tree roots don't just anchor and nourish. They connect. The underground mycorrhizal network, now often referred to as the Wood Wide Web, has been shown to transmit chemical signals, share nutrients, and even send warning messages between trees. But what if this is merely the biological layer of something far more complex? Imagine roots functioning like energy conduits, drawing in not only water and minerals, but subtle forms of vibrational information from the planet's electromagnetic field. The Earth itself emits a frequency, Schumann resonance, that aligns almost perfectly with the brainwave states associated with intuition, meditation, and deep states of awareness. Trees, embedded in this field through their vast root systems, may be amplifying and channeling this frequency upward, transforming Earth's vibrations into something that can be refined, modulated, and transmitted. That's where the leaves come in. The branching structure of a tree, its leaves dancing with the wind, appear random. But under closer inspection, we find fractal geometry, patterns that mirror the structure of river systems, lightning bolts, even neural pathways in the brain. This suggests a design language, a logic, a code. Leaves, in this theory, function as neurological filters, processing incoming and outgoing frequencies. They may be acting as organic modulators for energetic data, adjusting signals much like brain receptors filter thought. Light is transformed in the leaves through photosynthesis, yes. But what if light itself is a form of encoded intelligence, and the leaf is a processor? This turns the forest into a living computer, one whose hardware is plant-based, and whose software is vibrational. The forest hums with signals, silently interacting with dimensions that lie just beyond our ordinary perception. It's not transmitting Wi-Fi. It's transmitting something far more ancient, interdimensional instruction. But who or what is on the receiving end? Many esoteric traditions speak of a higher intelligence that exists beyond the material world. Some call it the Oversoul, the Logos, or the Central Sun. Others suggest it's not a single being but a network of superconsciousness, an extra-dimensional intelligence responsible for seeding and maintaining life throughout the galaxy. According to these teachings, the Earth is not just a habitat. It's an interface, and the biosphere is how it communicates. In this context, trees are the messengers. They receive energetic impressions from the central intelligence, transform it into electromagnetic signals, and relay it across the planet through their interconnected root networks. These signals influence the behavior of weather, ecosystems, and even human consciousness. The idea that trees are simply passive elements of nature begins to fall apart under this view. Instead, they become a planetary nervous system, alive, intelligent, and deeply involved in our spiritual evolution. This may also explain why so many cultures, ancient and indigenous, have revered trees as sacred beings. The Druids communed with oaks. The Bodhi tree gave the Buddha his awakening. The Norse believed in Yggdrasil, the world tree connecting all realms. These weren't metaphors. These were remembrances, cultural echoes of a time when humanity still understood that trees were bridges between worlds. Now consider what this means for our modern world. In cutting down forests, we may not simply be destroying biodiversity, we may be severing the communication lines of the planet. When we reduce millions of interconnected trees to lifeless lumber, we are silencing a language we no longer remember how to hear. It's not just ecological suicide, it could be cosmic muting. We are unplugging ourselves from the planetary grid. And perhaps this is why humanity often feels lost, directionless, ungrounded. We have tuned out of the organic intelligence that once guided us. We've disconnected from the forest's code. Our collective anxiety, our spiritual confusion, may be symptoms of this broken signal. But the forest is still speaking. If we return, physically and energetically, we may begin to feel it again. When you stand near a tree in complete silence, you may notice a sensation, a subtle awareness, a kind of pressure that isn't sound but presence. This isn't imagination. You are entering the field. You are standing inside a bioresonant transmitter tuned to planetary consciousness. And for a moment, if you are still enough, it may begin to broadcast through you. Not in words. In knowing. What we call intuition, sudden clarity, or moments of universal love may not come from within. They may be messages, passed through layers of root and leaf and light, from something watching us with deep patience and infinite wisdom. The question is not whether this intelligence exists. The question is whether we are still willing to listen. Because if the trees are antennas, the forest is a transmitter, and the earth is a vessel, then our minds were always meant to be receivers. And perhaps the greatest signal we've yet to decode is already inside us.